on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If you happen to be new around here, my name is Trevor and this is Anna. We are the Delightful Travelers. Make sure to click on subscribe and the little bell to follow along on our adventures. We got something special planned today.
Yeah, we are in Digby again. In this video, we're going to be exploring some cool things, but like Trevor said, we're starting off at a really fun thing. So behind me, you might see a tiny home, but it's not just any tiny home. It's actually the replica of Maud Lewis's house. She was a famous folk artist here in Nova Scotia.
I would say it's the most adorable little house, tiny house, that I've ever seen.
And it was before the time that tiny homes were really popular. So as I said, Maud Lewis was a very famous painter and she had a very colorful house. You can see some of like her paintings and her style outside of her home as well.
Okay, we're gonna go right inside.
So here we are inside. Look how small it is. I think she lived in here, from 1937 with her husband, Everett. So two people in here. I can't even imagine having two people in this space.
Take a look at this, just for scale. I am 6 feet pretty much on the dot and yeah, well, you get the idea. But yeah, this is small quarters, very tight, but it looks functional.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Could you live in one of these?
I could probably do it. So we've got a little area to hang things over here. There is an old stove here. I love this old-fashioned stove. And I guess that would be used for heating as well.
Look at the artwork on it though.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I can't get over the detail and look at that, like the oven part. Wow.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing up there, but I'm assuming there must have been either storage or something up there or maybe a bedroom.
Maybe so.
And then a little, seating area, sort of bed over here.
Yeah.
Some more storage there. A dining table is here.
Mm-hmm. And a bit of
little
storage.
spot to paint over here. So we were just learning a little bit about Maud. She was born in the early 1900s in Yarmouth, which is about an hour away from here. Her parents passed away and then she moved up here to the Digby area where apparently she started working for Everett Lewis. And that didn't last very long. She was supposed to be the housekeeper. She married him soon after that and they lived in this house together until she died in the 1970s.
So that place is really unique. It's really cool. But there's another thing here. There's actually a little shop where you can buy some artwork and I'm assuming maybe some trinkets.
So if you want to get an idea of what her paintings were like, they actually sell her prints here. Very colorful, super unique, kind of fun and playful, and I think they're all probably Nova Scotia areas, because I highly doubt she went outside of Nova Scotia in her lifetime.
Check this out. You can buy a replica of the replica as a birdhouse. So I have to say that is so unique, and there's quite a few of them. What I also like is all these clippings on the wall here. You got different press clippings all about her over the years. So it's just really well done. It's really thought out and it's an absolute pleasure to be here. So for those of you who are not familiar with Maud Lewis, there's actually a movie about her. I think it's somewhat recent, like in the last year or so.
Yeah, it's called Maud and it has Sally Hawkins, who plays her, and Ethan Hawke.
We hear it's really good.
I know, we haven't seen it.
But we haven't seen it either. So we were gonna say maybe you guys should watch it, but
we should watch it too.
Maybe we should watch it, guys.
So the owner of this property, his name is Murray. His aunt and uncle actually used to live across the street from Maud Lewis and used to go visit her all the time. And after she passed away, he actually built this as a replica just for himself, really, but it became really popular and famous around the area and people started visiting just from the Digby area. Then the word kind of spread, so he decided to open it up as a little museum that you can come visit.
And by the way, if you're wondering what the cost is, this is actually free to come here. You don't find that too often, but you can leave a donation and I think you're going to want to after you see this.
And once you visit here and you want to learn more about her, you can actually visit where the property was, where she lived in Marshalltown, which I think is only about 10 minutes away from here.
All right, we just came over to a winery here in Bear River. It's called Bear River Vineyards, and well, I think you guys know wine happens to be one of our favorite drinks.
Yes, and the Annapolis Valley is very well known for its
Yes.
wine. Some of you may know that, some of you may not know that. This area, not in particular, is kind of the other end, so it's exciting to have a winery over on this side of the valley.
So we're hearing already that these vines could be the first vines that were planted by French settlers back in 1611. I just love that you're a wealth of knowledge, and we should probably introduce you.
Hi, I'm Darren. I'm the owner here. Welcome to Bear River Vineyards.
Oh, we're so happy to be here.
If you were here at harvest time, what you would see is all the furniture from this room gets put into other places in the old barn, because right where we're all standing becomes our crush pad, which is the first step in the winemaking process. So people are out in the vineyard picking baskets of grapes. We do everything by hand here. So we pick in 50-pound scallop baskets, and this room starts to fill with baskets of grapes. And I operate one really simple piece of equipment right about here on the floor called a crusher destemmer. Okay, so I'm pouring the grapes in the top of that, and it's doing just what its name suggests it's going to do. That there's an auger that spins around in it that rips the stems off, and then out the front end through a hose. The hose simply gravity feeding the liquid through the hole in the floor flows the grape must, it's called at that point.
Came into the room where the wine is made. This is a funny looking tank over here.
Yeah, so what is this? Because we're used to tanks like these.
That's right. That's right. Well, this is stainless steel. This is also stainless steel, but that's about the only similarity between the two. This is a decades-old milk tank from when this property operated as a dairy farm for over a century, starting in 1883. And so we ferment our largest batch of red wine in this every year, and it makes a great fermentation tank, even though it's maybe not standard. You're not going to find it in the fermenter's catalog, that's for sure. But it does a great job for us, and it's been our longest serving fermentation tank.
That's awesome.
We're gonna slide open this window, and from any tank's position on this level, we get a hose connected. We start it with a siphon, and then no pump needed. It just gravity flows down into the lowest level of the building, which is where the bottling operation is. Now that we're down here, you can see why I keep calling it a window, even though we're actually standing indoors. A century ago, and for about 100, we would have been standing outdoors. So the barn stopped right there. You can tell that by the siding. And there was just the overhang of a roof here, and then the previous owner laid the same herringbone slate floor down here and closed the room in to create the lowest level of the building. So by the time the wine flows down here, it's completed its gravity-fed journey from the crush pad where we started, down into the fermentation and storage level, and finally down into the bottle level.
So I want you guys to take a look at this, what do you call this? Like a little machine, a little contraption, I guess?
Yeah, it is a pretty crude looking little device, and it's simply intended to heat shrink the capsule into place. So when it's plugged in and turned on, those coils would be red hot, and the loose capsule with just a touch into the heat area like that gets heat shrunk into place. And then it looks more like this one, nice and professional looking in place. And then we finish the process with the little hand labeler. Bottle goes in there. One complete turn of this handle would roll that label on, which I'm not going to finish because it's not the right label for that bottle. But one complete rotation, and then you have a finished product.
So for all of you that are wondering, at harvest time, it is very busy here. It's just a small winery. If you're wondering when harvest time is, it's in October, around the middle of October so for Canadian Thanksgiving, basically. Well, here is the money shot right there. Look.
Take a look at that. So it's a total of 11 acres here, but 6 acres of vineyards. Beautiful. There's actually a river down there, Bear River, in fact. But you can't really see it, but I think in the wintertime you'd have a pretty good view.
So how many grapes do you have here?
So for a small vineyard, quite a few. We have 10 varieties of grapes actually, and we turn those into 6 different types of wine because there's a fair bit of blending that goes on.
All right, so Anna's back there getting ready to take some Instagram photos. I'm telling you right now, just listening to him talk about the whole process and just taking us around this gorgeous property is just making me want to try the wine. I need to try the wine.
All right, we're at our first wine. This is called Greater Yellow Legs. It's made of Geisenheim, something I've never heard of before, Riesling and Chardonnay.
Well done.
Nice.
It was hard to remember that.
Myself. I noticed already she's much better at the wine part of this than the other stuff. Like she's dead focused right now.
She's a pro at wine.
Yeah.
Except when it actually comes to describing wine, I'm terrible at it. So. It's nice. It's quite dry.
It is dry.
Yeah.
It is dry, and Excellent meal accompaniment though, because of the lack of residual sugar. All of our wines, I think that's how I kicked them all off by saying we're known for doing dry table wines because you don't want a sweet wine with meal. So our second wine is our rosé, a little bit of a cheeky name there, rosé. So that's a little bit of Canadiana creeping in, and our American tourists buy this sight unseen. They just, I think it's a souvenir for them. But there's kind of a double entendre to the label because it's also saying, well, is this really a rosé? It's almost questioning the wine because it's not a traditional method rosé. So as you would probably know, you guys seem to know your wines, a traditional method rosé is when you take a red grape and just lightly press it and don't leave it on the skins to absorb a lot of color, okay? That's certainly the old world winemaking style for rosé. Europeans would tell you it's the only way you should make one.
I actually love rosé, but sometimes it can be really sweet, and I like a dry rosé, which is apparently what this one is, so I'm really excited to try it.
And I think they said it's bestseller.
It is our best seller.
Ooh.
This is not made in the traditional fashion. It's actually made using a white grape, a Pinot Gris, you said,
Yes.
and a something Lucy something.
Lucy Coolman.
Lucy Coolman, which is a red.
It's a red hybrid.
Hybrid. That's the word we're looking for. Okay. And it actually does smell quite fruity, and you'd think it would be sweet. So let's try it. Ooh, it's nice and subtle and light. That's great. I really like that a lot.
So the previous owner was a bit of a maverick when it came to the vines he was planting here. He planted Pinot Noir when everybody else was telling him, you really should only try to grow, hybrids in Nova Scotia because of the climate.
Right.
And so we have 25-year-old Pinot Noir vines here, and other people have caught up and are now making Pinot Noir, but we have the oldest vines in the province of Pinot Noir.
Cheers, you guys. Look at the color of that one. So it's much lighter in color, which is typical for Pinot Noir.
Pinot is lighter, but
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Pinot does run lighter.
Wow,
Absolutely.
smells totally different. Oh yeah. This is nice and light. It goes down pretty easy. I'd say it's also like, I don't know, on a hot day, this is probably the red wine that I would choose. Usually I would go for white wine in the summer, and Canadian summer anyway, but I like it. I like this a lot.
So we just finished the wine tasting, and one of the things about this place that's just as impressive as the wine is the building itself. It's this old converted barn from the 1800s, entirely made of wood, with ceilings that have to be close to 40 or 50 feet high. I'm not even sure. There's so much character in this space, I just can't get over it. It's worth it alone just to come here to see the building, but if you do, try the wine as well. Well, welcome to Point Prim, everyone. This is an absolutely beautiful look off here, I have to say.
It's gorgeous. Thankfully, it's gorgeous because we had a little bit of a fail. Our goal was to come out as the ferry. It's a ferry that goes from Digby to St. John. Was leaving. We got here about 2 minutes after the ferry was supposed to leave from way down there, and it was already way out in the ocean. We could just see it slowly, or quickly, I should say, going into the mist.
So basically, it left early, and I just can't believe they didn't hold the ferry for us. Like,
Oh,
they
how
didn't
dare
know
they?
we were coming. So this place is really neat. I didn't expect it to be like this. It's really rocky. We're quite high up, and there's these picturesque views everywhere.
Yeah, there's cliffs too that Trevor keeps telling me not to go too close to. It makes him very nervous.
It freaks me out when she goes close. There's also a lighthouse up there. We'll take you up there in just a few moments. So I thought about bringing the drone. If you guys watched some of our previous videos in Nova Scotia, I've flown a drone around, especially when there's lighthouse. Thing is, it was just downpouring here with thunder showers. Honestly, like a half hour ago, and I was like, okay, there's no way I can bring the drone here, especially that we're going to be on like the edge of a cliff. I thought it was going to be like,
it was a super windy day too, so we thought there's no way, and of course we get here and it's pretty calm and nice.
I know. Anyway, that's fine. We'll still get you some shots of the lighthouse, but still, I just didn't expect this kind of weather.
So if anyone's actually wondering where we're located, you can see a map here of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. We are obviously in Nova Scotia. Digby and Point Prim is right here, so it's like the southwest point of it. If you watched our last video, you saw that we went whale watching. We were just down here on that point, down that way.
So look at all the rocks here. It's quite the epic setting here on these cliffs.
Yeah, totally. It goes down pretty far. A lot of people go to Peggy's Cove when they come to Nova Scotia, as they should. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's really, really famous, so everybody goes there. But you can find kind of the same sort of similar thing in other parts of Nova Scotia as well, like this, like all these rocks. Probably not smart to go down on like really close to the water because you never know what that ocean's gonna do. So you got the lighthouse here. It's pretty epic. So if you're visiting Nova Scotia, one thing you absolutely have to do is visit at least one lighthouse, if not more. There's so many across the province. We've done some in the past. I'm sure we'll visit some in the future as well. One interesting thing is that they're all really different and unique in their own way. This one's kind of a square shape.
So I kind of like the square shape. I mean, I know there's the classic style, I mean the more round style, or maybe I guess it's like a hexagon, really?
Sort of, yeah, or like a square that gets smaller at the top. I don't even know what you'd call that.
Well, that's going to be it for our video here today, guys, in the Digby area. We had so much fun exploring. There's a lot here. Like, I didn't even know half of this stuff existed. And yeah, just a lot of fun exploring.
And in the last video, we were actually doing even more of Digby area. So if you haven't watched that already, go back and watch it for sure.
Next up, we're fairly certain we're heading up to the Annapolis Valley region. We can't wait to take a look at that place more in depth. And if you got this far in the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button because it probably means you like it. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Also, you can help others. If we missed a spot today, you leave a comment. Other people watching in the future will see it and they'll know what to do when they're here.
Also, this video was in partnership with Nova Scotia Tourism, so we want to say a big thank you to them.
Yes, absolutely. Big thanks to you guys.
All right, guys, that's it.
From Digby, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.
Oh,